Congratulations on it.
Thank
It's
you very
amazing.
much.
Did
Oh.
Taika call you up and say, I have like this just weird, eccentric person? Were you a fan of the Marvel movies? Like, what brought you to this role?
No and yes, and let's see there was channels that met channels and dots that connected other dots that wound Taika and I up at the Chateau Marmont, where you spend your mornings having breakfast, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do you know the Chateau Marmont?
I do know where
you
the
go
Chateau
there?
Marmont. I've been there like once on someone else's check, so
Oh,
that was
it's not,
it.
we met there and we hit it off immediately. I loved him, at least. I loved his movies before, Flight of the Conchords, and
What
all
We
of
Do in
them.
the
What We Do in the Shadows,
Yes.
all improvised movie. And he said from the start, I think this is going to be something in your vein and that you can do, and I want to kind of make it into something that you can do, and we're going to improvise a lot, and I like improvisation, so it was kind of like that.
But yeah, no, it's very much like you. So how much was it you? How much was on the page?
Well, there was a lot that was beautifully rendered on the page, but then Taika, is brilliant, and he said, oh yeah, let's fool around with this. And he said, well, do you have any ideas? And I would say, as long as we're here, let's hear, I can talk about this and this, and I would do that. And then he would say, well, keep the camera rolling, because I got 23 other ideas. And he would go, say this, say that. Oh, how about this? And so we would do that. So when I saw the movie a few days ago, it was a surprise to me. I hadn't, and nobody told me either, what they could have gone in a lot of different directions. So it was like that. That's how we did it.
I'm so glad that you said that too, because I can't wait to see the extra footage when like the DVD comes out of like all the different versions of the stuff you
There
did.
may be a thing or two that they show. We did some fun stuff. If you stay till the end credits, did you see that?
Yes.
The end of the end
well,
credits.
let's not spoil it for the
let's
people
not
at home,
spoil
but
it,
it's
there's
very worth sticking
something.
around for.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you think so.
Yeah,
thank you.
I enjoyed it too. I stayed.
okay.
Anytime anyone leaves a Marvel movie, I'm like, why did you leave? So
Oh, really? There's always kind of a little
yeah,
present?
you gotta have some fun at the end. So the
oh.
last thing I was gonna say is I feel like you've had this great long career, but recently I feel like you're like internet's own celebrity, because like the internet has just embraced you in a way that's bananas. Like, have you noticed it? Like, what's it like when you're doing like your live shows now and people are coming in there with memes and such?
At Rockwell, we do a show every week there. It's really fun. I like it. People come up, yes, they're memes. They have tattoos of me sometimes that I like to see. It's really fun. I like it. And then I have a kind of an embarrassing fetish that my wife is like, come on, haven't you had enough of that? But I like to go on, all I have is Instagram.
Okay.
So I go on Instagram, hashtag Jeff Goldblum,
Okay.
to see what pictures have been posted of us together. And people do nice drawings of me
Yeah.
that I like to see.
Very cool.
Anyway,
All
I
right.
kinda
Well, they're
like
wrapping
this.
me, but am I gonna get my song on the way out?
Yes. Do you know any jazz standard? You start it and I'll sing along with you.
Summertime.
And the living is easy, fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Jacqueline, 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 Jacqueline. Oh, my darling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. This film is absolutely hilarious. I laughed so much during the screening.
Good.
So when I was talking to Chris, he said, when you came on board, you both had this vision to sort of change it and shift it tonally. So
Yeah.
how did you make that approach? Because it looks like you looked a lot at the old movies too and like used that for the comedy.
Yeah. Well, we because Ragnarok is like the destruction of the old world and the rebirth of the new. And without getting too philosophical about it, we destroyed the kind of memory of those first two films and used all of that history to like reboot the franchise, and without having to cast anyone again, without having to recast anyone, which is really cool. It's like, oh, do you want to like change your character? Sure, I want to change my character. I want to make it more fun. Do you want to change your character? Yeah, I don't want him to be boring scientist guy anymore. Yeah, do you want to change your character? Like, so that was like, and basically everyone just had the opportunity to come in and make it interesting for themselves and make it fun to go to work, and that's really where all this lunacy came from.
Yeah, when I was talking to Jeff, he definitely said how you just let him play and have fun. I mean, casting him, is that pretty much why you went for it? So you could just be Jeff Goldblum?
He was the only, like, Kevin, I remember the casting meeting, Kevin Feige and I were across this boardroom table, and everyone was looking around at these bits of paper of people's names all over them, possible people to play Jeff Goldblum, and we both like turned the possible people to play the Grandmaster. We both turned the same page at the same time. It had Jeff's face on it, and we just went, Jeff Goldblum. It's him. And then I was like, okay, so you want to like make a short list? Is that no? That's it. It's only him.
Just go after him really hard.
Go after him.
Yeah.
And so we did, and no regrets.
Yeah, I mean, I loved his character, as I felt like what you were able to do with him, but then also your character, Korg, like,
yeah.
So when you're filming on set, were you just off to the side, like, throwing out the lines, or how did you do that?
Yeah, like, usually, like, when I direct, I'll be like, you know, like, you guys were talking there, and I'll be right next to you guys here, and I'll be like, okay, say this, say it like this, no, say this, and I'll just be feeding people lines a lot, and then trying not to ruin the takes by laughing, which I did ruin a lot of those takes. And then if I'm in the scene, then I make sure it's nothing too complicated camera-wise, where I have to like do a lot of choreography or like just standing around saying stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I like to comment. The characters I like doing the most just comment on things. They just like have a running commentary, and they just talk about. They just describe things, and they like, or helper characters, you know, like, and what we do in the shadows, my character's like the tour guide throughout the world.
Yeah.
And in this one, Korg is like the tour guide for Sakaar.
Yeah, I saw that screening in Austin at the Alamo. Do you remember that where y'all did that? It was so great. So last thing, Chris let us know that there's going to be another Thor. Does that mean you're going to come back? Because, I mean, I feel like you've turned the world. You can't hand it off to someone else at this point.
Oh, no, I would. No, it would be like giving one of my children away.
So you're coming
which
back.
I've thought about in the past, but I can't bring myself to do that. And so, like, yeah, I mean, if it happens, I'll definitely come back and do it.
Chris says he's down, so I'd say y'all are
well,
good
it's
to
actually,
go.
you know, it's not up to him now. It's actually more about me, and because you know you can't have me without Korg, you can't have Korg without me as a director. So it's like it's
a lot of navigating on the salary. Yeah.
Expensive. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's going up.
Chris, congratulations on the film. It's hilarious and so much fun. And I heard that you kind of wanted to go in this direction. Was this before Taika came on or when he came on? I heard you were kicking this off.
Yeah, before Taika came on, I was pretty bored of myself and what I was doing as the character, and really wanted to do something different, you know. And I called Kevin Feige and said, we got to change this up a bit and cut the hair, break the hammer, do all sorts of different aesthetic things and tonally. And then Taika came on board, and I actually knew Taika before he had the first interview. And I called him and I said, I think we should pretend that we don't know each other and let it be Marvel's idea. and it worked out fine.
That's great.
He got the job.
So after he finds out he gets the job, do y'all have like a celebratory moment together where you like do a little dance and like call each other up?
We little dance, a little moment, and then we looked at each other and thought, oh wow, there's a whole lot of people relying on us. We got to pull this off now.
Excellent.
But you know, the good thing was he also had the same, I think, feelings about what this world could be and what this character could be, and was as bored of me as I was of me.
I mean, let's be honest. You've played Thor a lot. Like, I
played Thor a lot, you know, and I've loved playing it, you know, but I sort of built in parameters of the character that, you know, that I thought he had to abide by and had to speak a certain way and move a certain way. And this film really was, I was like, just, you know what, I'm just going to take a risk and throw it all away and play a different character, you know, and it's going to fit the universe because this is what we're a part of. But, you know, I think experimenting and taking risks is where the special parts of it all happen, you know.
And the genre in general. I mean, we're getting a lot. I mean, as a comic book fan, I'm loving that we're getting these movies, but this movie is a perfect example of, like, when you flip it on its head, it can get so great. So I
think you have an obligation to, you know, or a duty to sort of do something different. Otherwise, you're just collecting a paycheck, you know.
Yeah.
But for a lot of us, I think it's about pushing it to another place, you know.
It's great. I was just gonna say too, with Tessa, I feel like y'all's dynamic in the film is just so great. So can you talk a little bit about what it was like on set and when she came on? And
oh, she's amazing. It's funny, I read the script and I didn't see the character the way she portrayed it, you know. And it's funny because I could try and play the character how I wanted, but unless someone's pushing that out of me, you know, it's not going to happen. And she came on set and just had this whole different sort of attitude. She had this brash sort of confidence, this sort of, arrogance at times and so on, and which put Thor on his back foot, and all of a sudden he was vulnerable and the fan of the Valkyrie and so on. So it brought out a whole different thing in him, and I couldn't be more thankful for what she brought to the character and her attitude and also her confidence to come in and do that. Because it wasn't written like that, She came in and made a decision to go, I'm doing a Han Solo sort of, quality to this character.
I love it. Anyway, well, they're wrapping me up. Thank you so much. First of all, I feel Taika put his stamp on this film so much, and even with you both as Hulk and as Bruce. So how did he talk to you about the changes in the character evolving? Because this is how many films now that you've been playing the Hulk?
This is, the third one.
Yeah.
We were just looking to crack it open, and really we were just would always be laughing, talking, what if he does this, what if he does that, and we knew that we wanted to break the forms, we wanted to break all the norms, kind of break the rules with it. Chris wanted to, the franchise, we wanted to do that with the franchise, wanted to do it with Banner, and wanted to do it with Hulk, and but we also wanted to do it in a way that made sense, that also told a story, not just to do it, but to have it also service the story. So it was like really trying to find. We wanted him to be human. We wanted him to be human, and Taika does that so well. He's these quirky conversations and real moments with people that are surprising and kind of touching as well. And there are the real things like, you guys don't like me. I don't want to be with, nobody likes me on Earth. Why would I want to go back there?
Let's just talk about, I'm glad you brought it up too, not to spoil anything, but both the Hulk and Banner have real character arcs. The Hulk, I shed a little bit of a tear a little bit. You feel for the Hulk in this movie.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, he's, we all have the Hulk in us, we all have that part of us, that monster that, just wants to be loved and Banner just wants to be free, and they both want to be free. So Kevin came to me and, Kevin Feige and Lou Esposito and Brad were asked me, what would you do if you had a standalone Hulk? What would the story be? And I was like, I think it should be this, 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 and this, and it should end like this. And how about if we take that and we stretch that between Thor 3 and Avengers 4? So you do that character arc over these next 3 movies. Okay. So that you will basically have a standalone Hulk movie, but it'll be buried in these, Okay. And I was like, that sounds cool.
The internet's mad right now. They're still going to probably bug you at every chance you get.
Well, maybe after all this, Universal will finally be like, okay, just take the goddamn thing.
You heard
We're
it here.
sick of it.
Yes.
Just take them. We don't want Hulk anymore. It's a pain in the ass. They won't leave us alone.
Please, from your lips to God's ears.
Please. But so what you're seeing now is the beginning of that.
Oh, and I can't wait for it. And again, thank you so much for this character. I just love what you guys were able to do with it.
Awesome. Taika and Chris. Those guys are
glad you brought up Chris.
My heroes.
Last thoughts. You guys definitely improvised a lot. I mean, can you just talk about maybe a day where you just couldn't keep it together? What were you doing? Because y'all improvised so much. I imagine there were days you couldn't stop laughing.
There's a scene, it's not in the movie, but it'll be in the DVD, where I'm eating this pasta. I'm starving. Bruce, he's always starving, so he's eating this pasta, and you realize it's a worm. He's been eating a worm. It's like a cigar thing. He freaks out, but he's also, it's a very funny scene. It didn't end up in the movie, but he's trying to use Dumbo as an analogy for Thor to understand his life, and it's so stupid. And we were just riffing off of this, and it was a very funny day, and we were laughing so hard. And then there was another day when the stoop scene, when Banner's wearing Tony's clothes and he's trying to get him through, and we sit down and we came up with the whole thing you're using me for the Hulk. Gross. That's gross, man. And we were laughing so hard during that scene. We couldn't do the scene.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
The movie was really funny. Thank you so much, Mark.
Sure.
So Tom, I'm gonna ask you, because this is now your third Thor, but the first time with Taika. what did he do to just? I feel like he just changed the whole franchise with this film.
Yeah, I mean, it's he has such a spirited sense of humor and such a clear taste, and you know, I sort of came to it a little bit later than Chris did, but they already had decided they were going to shake it up a bit, and that it was going to be funny and kind of out there, and to really enjoy it, to just, I don't know, like a kind of a shot of humor through the whole thing, and I loved it. I mean, it's I think to have sincerely to have the privilege of coming back to do a third Thor film for both of us, to come back to play this character again, you want to find new and fresh ways of doing it, and Taika just kind of alighted on this new tone with a new story, and it was really fun.
Yeah, I do feel he put his spin on it, and especially Tessa with your character, I just felt so much of his humor with it, but also such care, because I feel like, let's be honest, there's just a generation of film fans that look like me that are just like, yes, girl, please, yes. And I know you've dealt with a lot since the casting, so just how awesome is it now that you're like, you'll get to see how great this is?
It's great. I mean, you know, in truth, the thing that I look forward to is when it isn't so much of a talking point, you know? I mean, I'm so happy that Marvel, you know, would take a risk, I guess, what it is, not to, you know, completely honor the source material, as, you know, with how she looks. But to me, the thing that is so important with all of these characters is that you capture the spirit of the character in the comic books. And, you know, what color we are has very little to do with who we are as people, and so that's the thing that I just concentrated on is trying to bring sort of her grit and how dynamic she is in the comics to life.
Yeah, I really feel they killed how dynamic she is, because I felt like your character for once, like, I mean, I hate to say it, even as a woman, like, sometimes they don't have agency, but she's the hard-drinking, like, quippy one. So what was it like? I know you guys have some scenes together, but you and Kate have some great scenes together, like going against her and going against Chris. Like, what did you have the most fun filming?
Oh, all of it was fun. I mean, to go up against, Kate, it's like, come on. But everyone, you know, and the truth is, I'm sort of like felt very much like the newcomer because I am structurally, but there were a lot of new folks, you know, peopling this world, and I think even for, you know, folks that have been around and playing these characters that are celebrated, like Tom said, it's a new spin. So in that way, it kind of felt like we were all newbies. You know, Ragnarok is about kind of destroying the old and in with the new, and so in that way, it felt like I was just in good company. We're all in it together of trying to sort through what we do in this third installment, you know.
Great. Well, I got to wrap up, but I want to ask, what was your favorite line or moment from her, and then what was your favorite line or moment from him, if you've got one that doesn't spoil too much?
It's my favorite line from you.
You had so many. That's why I'm like hoping. Or moments.
I mean, there's the way you come into your entrance is extraordinary.
Yeah.
The way you enter, the way you come into the film it's like fierce and confident and hilarious. But you don't know what I'm referring to.
No, I don't. I mean, I remember shooting it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just like the way he says my name. No, I haven't seen it. I just like when you're like, say it when you say, oh, you're when you discover that she's a Valkyrie.
I love shooting that scene.
Yeah.
You're a Valkyrie.
Oh, I just like the way he
A
says.
Valkyrie.
See? Do it again.
Yes. Thank you
You're a
guys.
Valkyrie.
Yes.